Technology Edmonton. This is our first event and we are so excited about it. It is sad that we couldn't make our first event in person due to the COVID situation. My name is Elohe and I'm one of the team members in Edmonton, and I have been with Women of MENA for over 6 months. And yeah, great. My name is Elohe. Before we start the panel, just a bit background about the organization. Women of MENA in Technology, previously known as Persian Women in Tech, is a 5-year nonprofit organization established in Silicon Valley in 2015 with over 20,000 professional Middle Eastern and North African women members. Women of MENA in Technology is dedicated to celebrating and empowering Middle Eastern and North African women in tech globally. Currently, it has presence in 17 global cities in US, Canada, and Europe, with programs including city events, mentorship, membership, and many more. This program is one of the city events. If you are interested in joining our Edmonton team, please email us at edmonton@womenofmenaintechnology.com. I'll just put it in the chat box in here. And also our annual conference is happening this November. So if you are interested in sponsoring us or volunteer with us, please email us at conference@womenofmenaintechnology.com. Again, I'll put it in the chat box. I hope you had a good time during the pre-panel networking. Next is our panel with speakers and our moderator, Mina. If you have any questions, please feel free to put your questions in the chat box. Now I wait for Mina to join us and welcome our speakers. Mina Jan, can you join us?
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. You can hear me well?
So, yeah, I'm going to turn off my camera and then...
Sure, I take it over from here. Thank you, Elohe. Okay, hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Mina Aliani, and I'm the Women of MENA in Technology team lead in Edmonton. And I'm super excited to run this panel today as we have some really great speakers from the oil and gas industry participating in our panel. And I believe it will be a very interesting discussion. Our panel will be for 45 minutes, like a discussion, and followed by 15 minutes Q&A from audience. So if you have any questions, you can put your questions in the chat box that you see on the right-hand side of the screen. And you can also mention that from which panelist you want to ask your question. And if you want, you can put a little like a description about yourself. And then once we get to Q&A, we will ask your questions. Now I would like to ask our panelists to join me on the stage so they can start their videos. I have Shima, Ali, and Mitra, and we'll wait for Mariam. Hi, Mitra, Shima.
Hi, Mina. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for joining us today. Okay, we got Ali too, so we are only missing Mariam. Hi. How are you today, Ali?
Good, thanks.
Enjoying
it's quite hot in the desert.
Yeah. In desert. Should I believe you're in desert in BC?
Yeah, Ostoyos, it's a desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not at home.
I will. So Mariam, I think she has some issues connecting us. So I will ask our team members to please maybe send her the link again so that she can join us. So I just give it a couple minutes. Okay. So while we're waiting, why don't we just start to introduce ourselves? So first of all, I would say thank you for being here with us, and I'm super excited for this panel. I briefly introduce you, and then I let you to tell more about yourself. So today we have Shima Khatibi-Seper. She's the supervisor of the quality control group at Enbridge in Edmonton. And we have Mitra Kashanji. She's the refinery general manager at Chevron Light and Salt Lake Refinery in the US. And we have Ali Vakil, who is the senior research scientist and project manager at Quanda R&D Corporation, and also an adjunct prof at University of British Columbia in Vancouver. So thank you again for being here with us. I will just open the talk to you to just introduce yourself and briefly, so before we go to the panel. I start with you, Shima.
Okay, sounds good. Good afternoon, everybody. As Mina said, my name is Shima, and I'm currently the supervisor of the quality control group at Enbridge, where I oversee the testing of some of the most advanced mission-critical applications to basically ensure safe and reliable operations of our liquid pipelines at Enbridge. I did my undergrad in chemical engineering and received my master's and PhD in computer process control from University of Alberta. Throughout my career, I worked on and led a diverse set of engineering and research projects for multiple companies in the oil and gas and pipeline industry. And the focus of most of those efforts was to basically address existing challenges and emerging opportunities in the oil and gas industry. So I'm happy to be part of this panel. It's my pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you. We're happy to have you here. Next, Ms. Rajan, you go and introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you very much for this invitation. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Mitra Kashanji. I am the general manager of Salt Lake Refinery for another month or so. And then I will be transitioning to a new position as the director of Chevron Chemicals in manufacturing and supply. So I'm moving on pretty quickly, actually. As far as my background, I got my undergraduate degree in chemistry, and I have a master's degree in physical chemistry and a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering. I've been with Chevron for 29 years. Started in Chevron in El Segundo refinery in our Southern California refinery, worked in engineering, operations, maintenance, turnaround, oils planning that manages crude to customer. And then from there, I went to actually Burnaby refinery in British Columbia. So I had one of my best years of enjoying the beautiful Vancouver in Burnaby as an operations manager, worked for Chevron there. From there, I got transferred to Northern California in our Richmond refinery, which I was in charge of our largest business unit called Hydro Division, which is in charge of hydro processing with extreme high pressure reactors and our lube oil production. And from there, I've been here for almost 3.5 years as a general manager and moving on soon. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for being here with us. Mariam, can you hear us? We cannot hear you, and your video gets cut off very frequently.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sounds good. It seems that my Wi-Fi quality is not very well. So
okay,
just
you can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, absolutely.
That's okay, like technical issues just expected on the online events. Okay, so why don't you go and introduce yourself?
Yeah, for sure. So I graduated, I got my bachelor degree and master degree in polymer engineering from American University of Technology back home. I worked for more than 10 years in research and development in electric power industry. I work as a research engineer and project manager in developing new products for electric power industry transmission and distribution lines. Then I moved to Canada, and then I started my second master degree. I got my second master degree in mechanical engineering from University of Alberta, and I then joined Enbridge, work in the major capital projects in the field of the project management. And then I joined manufacturing. I joined ZCL Composites, and Shawcor acquired ZCL Composites. So I work as a senior manager of engineering and project manager and the senior manager of the product and application engineering within Shawcor and ZCL Composites. And now I'm no longer working with Shawcor, so I'm looking for new opportunities myself as well, I would say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last but not least, Ali.
Yeah, so I hope I'm coming through seamlessly. So yes, thanks for the introduction. I guess you did the justice to who I am. Just background, mechanical engineering, mathematics, and been working on oil and gas projects for the past 9 years. So thanks for the event, and it's a pleasure to be amongst everyone in here. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, so without any further ado, I start the panel. My first question is for Mitra and Ali, but of course it's open to everyone else who has some comments and you want to add. Please feel free to add your comment. So I think everyone agrees that oil and gas is a very well developed and mature industry, and it has been around for over 100 years, and it's still overwhelmingly like the primary source of energy for many consumers, such as industrial, residential, agriculture, or many more. In general, before we dive into more details on this talk, how do you foresee the future of oil and gas changing with merging technologies? By merging technologies, I mean like from AI to machine learning to 5G or any other wireless technologies. I start with you, Mitra.
Thank you very much. It's a very good question, as our surroundings are changing every day with technology, and it's impacting our day-to-day life, and it's impacting how we work. Think about the COVID-19 and how we all actually became very creative of how to still get our industry moving, and without our industry, our essential workers cannot get to their work locations. They can't. Their PPEs are from our products. So you can see that how we continue to be creative and support the human progress, if you would say. I think technology plays a very strong role in helping all of the oil and gas to continue to aim for affordable, reliable, ever cleaner energy. And the way that I know that Chevron focuses on all three of them to become more affordable, to become more reliable, and ever cleaner through three different companies underneath of our umbrella of Chevron. We have a company called Chevron Technology Venture. The specific focus of CTV, as we call it, is to go and look for those technologies that are an early development concept, but they have a future impact on a transformation on the energy in any of the aspects, either make it more affordable or ever cleaner. We have for years and years, we are very proud of our Chevron. It has gone through so many change of names. I think it's called Chevron Technology Center now, that is constantly focusing on R&D and manages technology to find and produce new oil and gas reserves, enhance the recovery of it, and also make sure that it has a impact on optimizing the downstream units. The third company that Chevron brings into the picture when it comes to the technology is our information technology company, or ITC we call it. That one integrates the IT, the data analytics, and all of the machine learning into picture for many of our, mostly focused on reliable operations. So from managing our the vibrations on our compressors to managing the or monitoring the flare emissions, that's where all of the technology from the ITC is coming to place to find us to become an ever greener as well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, great answer. Thank you. Yeah, so moving on to Ali. Do you want me to repeat the question, or you're good with it?
Yeah, so yeah, for a second again, okay. I saw everyone's disconnected. Yeah, so I guess the industry is already changing, and it would be better to be changing with all the new technology. Otherwise, we will be left behind the scene, and we will be left behind other sources of energy. So this is just a source of energy, or as an oil and gas, I would label it as energy industry. So historically, so as engineers, scientists, operators, so I guess we have two daily jobs: to identify problems and to solve problems. And for each, we need to have tools. So these tools was heuristic approaches and observations, which was followed by systematic experimentation. Then it was complemented by mathematical modeling, analytical solutions, which was then followed by the computational simulations and computational modeling, and now the new trend of data-driven solutions. And all of them is just to identify problems and have a solution for a super challenging board and super challenging industry. So, so we would better to be quite fast-paced in adopting the new trends to solve problems and to make a fast impact. So the problems now should be dealt with on the order of seconds, milliseconds, and to have more tools, we are better equipped to face the challenges and tackle the challenges and have roadmaps in front of us.
Perfect. Okay, good. So now that we briefly talked about the impact of tech in the oil and gas industry, my question is, for Shima and Mariam. So can you give us example of how the new technology has had a major impact in the oil and gas industry in the past, let's say, 5 years? I start with you, Shima.
Sure. The future is about data and digital solutions, no matter what business you are in. The explosion in the development of digital technologies during the past few years has already changed the way we work, and these technologies are likely to shape the future of the oil and gas industry over the next decade. I think the public perception is that oil and gas companies are not keeping up with the times, and other industries are adopting new technology at a faster pace. But the truth is that the oil and gas sector was slower than others to come on board with digitalization. But today, companies in the upstream, midstream, and downstream segments are continuously looking to innovate and develop technologies to increase efficiency, to reduce cost, improve productivity, and reduce environmental footprints. The reason technology and digital solutions are important comes down to one thing, and that is a competitive advantage. And because of that reason, technology and digital solutions at a high level are basically, so they already have been, many companies have already started to adopt a growing number of those digital solutions, and they're already using data analytics, cloud computing, digital twins, robotics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, you name it. So because there are endless avenues of opportunity to implement digital solutions in the oil and gas industry. One good example that I can think of is how, basically, just to answer your question about how new technology has had a major impact on the oil and gas industry, is basically the growing interest in the development of inferential sensors, which are also known as soft sensors or smart sensors. Basically, these sensors are designed and implemented to provide frequent real-time estimates of some quality variables or key performance indicators based on their correlation with real-time process measurements or some data that we collect continuously. You know, these smart sensors can help reduce the need for measuring devices. They can improve system reliability and help us develop tight control policies. So, though these sensors, they may not only be used as a substitute or complement to physical sensors, but they can also help us perform several other tasks related to system monitoring, system control, planning, scheduling, and optimization of process operations, development of decision support systems, and similar tasks. This is a simple concept, but this concept has had huge impacts on the industry and has made major, basically, changes in the way we operate some of our plants in the oil and gas industry. To wrap up my answer, it's important to understand that technology will improve our returns, reliability, customer interaction, and it help us reduce emissions, as Mr. was also basically mentioned in her in answering the previous question. So it's of practical interest to the oil and gas industry to investigate novel techniques and new technologies to improve profitability and while maintaining environmental compliance. And we've already seen lots of examples of that in the past few years.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I love your answer. It kind of links to my next question, but I will get back to you. So I will ask the same question from you, Mariam John.
Okay, yeah, sure. So, you know, I used to work in manufacturing industry. We use, you know, in the manufacturing, we are the suppliers of the products to upstream, midstream, and downstream of oil and gas industry. And it is I have so many experiences using the new technologies, especially automation, you know, data science in optimization and improving the manufacturing process. And one of the examples that I give you in the manufacturing of the underground storage tank, composite underground storage tank to store the fuels, we optimize the manufacturing process by creating or designing a new system, writing a code algorithm, you know, writing algorithms, use a Python software, for example, develop the material monitoring system to be able to track and reduce the material waste during manufacturing process. So it means that by using this system, we could decrease the production time. We could reduce the material waste up to $1 million annually. So it means that, and the ROI, the return on investment, was so attractive. The ROI was about 1 year. And also we were able to reduce the harmful, you know, polymeric resin materials, to reduce the use of these resins to 300 tons. And reduce the fiberglass by 100 tons. So by using this new technology, not also we could improve our you know, manufacturing process, decrease the manufacturing costs. Also, we could protect our environment by you know, by reducing the wasting of the material or material waste. The other example that I can use is that we improved and optimized quality control procedure, quality control test system for testing the leakage. Also, it was a leakage test or for these underground storage tanks. And by optimizing this leakage test, so we wrote a software, we use a software, sorry, we wrote an algorithm And we give this program to this machine to interpret the data, interpret the test data. So we eliminate the human error in interpretation of data in this process, because this interpretation of data by human beings depends on the skill set of that person, the level of the knowledge of that person, etc. And it would be disaster for the leak detection. But this machine or this program, this software could analyze the data, the test data, and give us the pass or fail result. So with this method, not only we could improve the quality and reduce the quality escapes, we could also increase the customer satisfaction and again protect the environment by reducing the fuel spill and in the environment. So we have so many good examples in, for example, automation of a manufacturing process is another example, which improve the the safety of the environment. We can remove or eliminate the health and safety concerns, which by using a remote system or automation system that and eliminate the direct interaction of the human beings or labor with critical tasks or high risk tasks, and create a better, more safe system for the employees on the floor.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Ms. Rajan, do you want to add anything on this, or I can move on to the next question?
No, I think they both covered it much better than me.
Nice, very nicely, yeah. Okay, so my next question is open to anyone who wants to answer. How would you describe the current uptake rate or adaptability of oil and gas with technology versus other industry? Like, for example, like talking about pharmaceutical or like biomedical industries all the way to like car manufacturing industries. We can see that there has been a very quick adaptability rate for them to keep up with the technology growth. And we can even see it in our daily life, like driverless cars or like electric cars. But how about oil and gas? Do you think that we in the oil and gas industry are following the same like pace as other industries are doing with the technology? I start with Ali.
Yeah, thanks. I guess I was frozen for a minute or two. Sorry, I lost the last 2 minutes. Yeah, so in my opinion, it is.
Okay.
No, I heard the question, so thanks. So yeah, in my opinion, it is relatively slow compared to other industries, and that is quite understandable because of the high capital cost involved in oil and gas, or in general in this section of energy. It takes time, and the impact is it is not small. So if you want to make changes or you want to use a new technology, it should be a proven technology that we could adopt and we could use it. So it is a bit slow. It is better to be faster, otherwise we will be left behind other industries. So that's.
Yeah, if I can add to that, Meena John, our industry is a high-risk industry. I usually tell that to our operators, that when I talk to them about safety and reliability and how much we need to focus on day-to-day tasks and every task that we have on our hand, I usually make this joke: we are not a pillow-making factory. We are a high-risk. Oil and gas in general has a high risk. Our footprints can be impacted. Our impact on the environment is, so we have to take the time to ensure the technology and the investment that we're putting does not increase our risk. So for that, it is the right approach to be 100% confident that the technology that you're choosing will improve, again, reduces your carbon footprint, helps you to get to the ever cleaner energy, and it makes the energy more affordable for everyone. at the same time, what we're good at in oil and gas is partnership. And we invest in our partners to make sure that we don't need to become the subject matter experts in everything. Our CEO once said, we can do everything we want, but we cannot afford to do everything we want. At the same time, so so when you invest in the right technology, with the right strategy, with knowing what your vision is of use of that technology, then you can invest in partnership. So instead of going and hiring the best coders, for example, to come to work for Chevron, you can partner with Microsoft, for example, and ask them to design and support your business. So I think I totally agree with Shima John. Oil and gas was a slower compared to the other technologies when it comes to digitalization, but that's the nature of oil and gas. We are risk adverse. We are worried about the impact of it, rightfully. But now we are on at the path of feeling more comfortable and starting to have the approach of, instead of phase gate approach on our projects, now we're doing a little bit more agile driven projects. We're doing much more Scrum approach projects. So we're learning fast, and we're good at that. We're good at partnership, and we don't lose focus on at the end, our vision of safe and reliable operation from upstream, downstream, and midstream cannot be compromised. So you're right. We are seeing the uptake. We are seeing that people are jumping to understand what else can we take on. But I don't think we're going to be in the business of becoming the best technology companies. We're going to be the best companies to partner with the best technology companies.
Yeah, so Ms. Rajan, I agree with you that oil and gas has enough resources to partner with other, companies for development, implementation of these new technologies in oil and gas, absolutely, for sure. But you need to have a huge investment. And I agree with you that, using the new technology or development and implementation of new technology, there are lots of resistance to it because it's a change. And human beings always are resistant to change. Change, it means the optimization of a process or, introducing a new process to the industry. And as you mentioned, so you need to, have manage your up-to-date day-to-day operations. You have operations, day-to-day operations. And if you are introducing new technology, it means that it, intervene the day-to-day operation, and it may increase the downtime of the operation or introduce some risks because there are some transition period through this technology. But I think at the end of the day, oil and gas has this potential to use more technologies. It has money, and if the executive leaderships of the companies reach to this conclusion to be more competitive in the oil and gas business, they should adopt and implement the new technologies, because it's a competitive market. If we want to be competitive, especially in oil sands or shale in North America, we should use new technologies to improve, the resource finding and decrease the production and extraction costs.
I agree, and I have always said, when people are resistant to change, they need to, in oil and gas, they will always remember that our industry are based on looking around and seeing in the world, not the ones that were the strongest lasted in the world, which were the dinosaurs. They were the ones that were more adaptive. That they're the ones who are still around. So I think if you just look at the survival, you have to adapt. But I just wanted to make sure that to highlight the reason, it's the nature of our business is risk adverse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely true. Shima-jan, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I mean,
Okay.
those are really good points that mentioned by everybody, and I think, yeah, I mean, as I previously mentioned, and Mariam and Mitra, and everybody was also talking about. I mean, so the reason technology and digital solutions are important comes down to having a competitive advantage, and that's what's gonna drive many of the initiatives to further basically explore and investigate adoption of digital solutions.
And I thank you. And I really love the conversation about the safety, which is really important, especially in the oil and gas industry. And the technology is really helping with increasing the safety and at the same time efficiency of the work. For example, like using those camera equipment, flying drones that you can use instead of sending operations in the confined space, you can use those instead. So it's blow-minding using the technology in oil and gas. So now that we're talking about the safety, process safety, I have a question for you, Mariam-jan. Are there any major technological trends you think are worth highlighting for the process safety, to improve the process safety, basically?
Exactly. So specifically, I can talk about, based on my experience about the manufacturing processes, using the automation systems and robotics. I think it's a huge impact to improve the safety of the manufacturing processes. It eliminates the health and safety concerns by enabling the labor and the people working on floor through controlling the high risk and hazardous, task remotely. So this automation system, I think it's a key technology in the manufacturing process for automating the manufacturing process and reducing the role of the human being in the manufacturing process. And instead of the human, we should use robotics and the automation system. I know that it is very expensive. There are lots of huge resistance to implement the automation system in manufacturing, because it needs lots of investment. It needs training of the people on the floor, resist these new technologies. They used to the old systems, the manual, operation. But I would say that training is the key to convince people that it is good for their health and safety to use this automation system and robotics on the floor.
Perfect. Thank you. Great answer. So my next question is for Mitra. You briefly mentioned about carbon capturing. So I want to elaborate more on that. So there's a lot of focus in both upstream and downstream about reducing the operational carbon emissions, such as using cogeneration technologies, carbon capture and storage. What are some of the most promising technologies that could have a significant impact in reducing the carbon emission?
Thank you for the question. And this is pretty close to my heart because Utah, where I work, air quality is one of the key topics of the community discussions. Utah goes through inversions. I've seen inversions in Vancouver for brief times during winter, but in Utah it's pretty extreme when we go through the inversions. Since from 1990s till now, I can tell you, for example, Salt Lake Refinery has reduced its carbon emissions and SO2 emissions by more than 90%. Again, by investing in running reliably. So when you run reliable, you have much less flaring, correct? So you manage your plants to make sure that the reliability of plant is not compromised to the point of having depressuring your units directly to the flare with no carbon control. We invested in our refinery to reduce the sulfur emissions by committing to Utah that we will produce Tier 3 gasoline. So we reduced our sulfur limits from 30 ppm in our gasoline to less than 10 ppm with our investments. But from the CO2 emissions, we have to look at different technologies. So some of them, for example, in our upstream units, is the CO2 injection into the wells and bring the CO2 injection into the total capital investment for our wells. And also I think we have one of the first investments in California that we did on CalBio methane emission, for example. This is the methane emissions from the farms that the Chevron has invested into as a new technology that we will capture the methane and then we will inject it to the natural gas pipelines for fuel as fuels for the cars. So I think it's a never-ending battle of helping the environment. You have to be on top of it at all time, and you need to. For us, we always have had that commitment of being a good community partner. And focus on reducing your incidents by focusing on reliability, reducing your SO2 emissions by making sure that you are focusing both on the source of production of the SO2 and the tailpipe of the gas by going towards lower sulfur gasolines. And next, going for lower sulfur diesels, lower sulfur marine oils. All of those are the journey that we're on, and we continue to focus on it.
Perfect. Yeah, it's like really good to hear that such big company like Chevron is dedicated to community concerns. It actually really nicely, I didn't expect that, but nicely lines up to my next question that I have for Ali and Shima. So there appears to be a lot of resistance by the general public and even the media about constructing new oil and gas pipelines. And there are concerns about even like leaks on existing pipelines. So what are some recently adapted advancements that in the oil and gas industry that you think if public knew about them, it would help to reduce their fears about leaking pipelines and emissions? I start with you, Shima-chan.
Sure. The pipeline industry delivers the energy people need and want to heat their homes, to keep their lights on, and to keep them mobile and connected. The good news is that with more regulation and community attention, North America is setting new safety standards internationally. And within North America, it's Canada that's showing significant leadership in that area. I work for Enbridge. We operate across North America, and we want to fuel the economy and people's quality of life. Enbridge is aware of all those concerns, and because of that, we continually looking for opportunities to enhance existing technologies and advance new ones in the areas of designing our pipelines, putting prevention in places to prevent leaks from happening, and putting monitoring and leak detection systems in place to keep our pipelines and distribution systems safe. We see it as our duty to work with innovators, researchers, regulators, and our industry peers to basically drive safety and reliability performance to new levels. At the end of the day, it's all about applying innovation to make a real difference, making the energy industry safer and cleaner and better for the good of humanity and the entire planet now and for generations to come. So there are two main areas that at Enbridge we focus on. So basically, we focus heavily on prevention to keep our crude oil pipeline network safe, and we've invested millions of dollars in advanced advancing our pipeline inspection technology through advanced sensors, resolution, and data analysis. We've been heavily using inline inspection tools, which are also known as smart pigs. Basically, these are some highly complex pieces of machinery that use advanced imaging technology to inspect our pipes inch by inch, searching for dense corrosion, imperfections, and cracks. So we've invested in multi-year project to develop a next generation of these smart pigs, or some robots that would advance crack assessment in crude oil pipelines. You know, this new crack detection robot represents basically a step change in technological capabilities, and it's based largely on being able to capture and analyze huge amounts of data from a pipeline's interior. On top of all these multiple prevention activities, we also take an industry-leading approach to leak detection. We provide 24/7 monitoring capability of all of our pipeline systems. We do that and we basically invest a lot on providing effective leak detection and monitoring of the pipeline network by using multiple overlapping hardware leak technologies, hardware leak detection technologies, coupled with computational pipeline monitoring. Systems are chosen carefully for their sensitivity and their speed in detecting leaks of multiple sizes. On top of that, we have qualified experts that are available around the clock to manage these systems to achieve optimal performance of our leak detection technologies. You know, and this is complemented with other monitoring capability we have in place, such as regular ground or air surveillance of our pipeline system. Enbridge is committed to further advancing our capability in leak detection, and we continue to test and pilot a variety of technologies. You mentioned using drones to basically do surveillance of our pipelines. We are investing in using fiber optics cables for leak detection purposes. We've tested the use of high fidelity dynamic sensing technologies and many other technologies. So like for us, there is what we want zero incidents, and we want 100% safe and reliable operation of our pipeline system.
Perfect answer, thank you. So go ahead, Aliza.
Yeah, so I guess in a nutshell, we need to do more research and more innovation. So there are environmental issues, and they are there. So we can leave them to be there, or we can just go and challenge them and solve a problem. And so that ties back that the more we understand the issues, the more we can create more reliable operations. Previously, I guess we used to rely on operators' experience mostly, and now we can have all these tools, predictive tools, to help the operators to run the plants, to run the whole process more reliably. And that means that we have come a long way to get to the stage that we are, and it's not the end of the story. So it is lots of new challenges ahead of us, and we need to have more tools. So that is back to Mina's and Shima's point. Just to your specific questions on the public knowledge about the pipeline and what they would know. So it would be better to know. So they would better to know that. To be educated more, to know the leakage problem. It is not everyday problem. It is a problem. It is. So it is better to face the problem and to have a solution for it. It is not a problem. It is a side effect. So if you go to a pharmacy, the analogy I always make that you go to a pharmacy and you ask for a drug, and the pharmacist just tell you the side effects of a drug. You dash out of the pharmacy without considering the drug at all. If you go to a pharmacy and you just ask for a drug and they tell you the main effect of a drug, so you are misinformed about the side effects. So there are these side effects of the pipeline that so we can have a solution for them. And so I guess Enbridge also doing a good job. So we are doing lots of research to provide solutions to all these environmental challenges. So they are there, so they are not going anywhere. And it is a big industry. So our industry is not going anywhere any soon. So it is better to face all the challenges. And I guess we are doing a good job so to the public that we are doing, I guess, good job to making sure that there are less leakage, and if there are lots of ways to do the leakage detection, and and doing more research help us to learn more and to be better positioned for the future.
Yeah, I can just add to this that the people expectations and the community expectation actually brings the wall of competition between oil and gas down. The sooner we find these technologies and help each other to find the best technology on R&D and digitalization or AI to reduce our carbon footprints, to minimize our emissions, to eliminate process safety, the lack of process safety for all of us is the winning ticket. For all of us. So I think it actually has a lot of pulling all of us together in supporting the R&D. Our business is a tough business. It's a capital intense business with margins that constantly swings in front of us. I mean, you stay 10 years in oil and gas, you've seen it all. You've seen the high, you've seen the low. And it has been like that all the time. The one thing that unites all the companies and makes them talk with each other openly, share ideas openly, is eliminating process safety incidents. And for that, it's the technology, and for environmental reduction, it's footprint reduction is the technology that is actually uniting us.
Perfect. Yeah, I love it. I'm enjoying the discussion, but we are running out of time, so I want to go quickly over the last couple of questions. So I have like two main questions that I really want to ask. So Ali, this is a specific question for you because you work very closely with the students. And we have some students. I know that we have some students in the audience and they're listening to us. So maybe they would get benefit by listening to your suggestions. So students are entering college and universities, and they're heavily considering what various industry will look like when they graduate. So how would you tell them, or how would you convince them to pursue their degrees and geared towards oil and gas industry? Or would you even tell them to go pursue their degree in this industry?
So good question, hard question. So I won't convince them. I would basically tell them what is happening inside the industry. I would tell them the truth. There are challenges and there are lots of opportunities. So that means that there are, so for me as a researcher, as a research company, as university, so lots of problems and there are opportunities. And it has its own hard times. It has its own up times, but I won't convince them. I hope the industry was so so oil and gas as an energy industry was self-promoting industry. Because it has been around for a long time and it is just a modern industry. So we forget the impact that it is making on daily life. So, and we take it for granted that it is there and it should be there and it is how it is. But if we self-promote or the industry self-promotes itself better and more, so people outside can learn about all this beautiful, I guess, to me, challenging problems so we can just get involved and we can solve them. So we can have a solution and we can make an impact. So I would tell them, I let them decide themselves, but I can tell them there are lots of opportunities and there are lots of interesting problems and lots of things to learn from the industry.
Perfect. Good answer. Thank you. And so my last question is for our female panelists. I know that all of you have some powerful personal and professional stories about diversity and inclusion in the oil and gas industry. So I start with you, Shima-Jan. Any specific challenges or experience that you faced in this industry?
The reality is that for a woman entering a workforce where she's surrounded by men, she needs to be prepared. The reason is that, as you mentioned, women working in male-dominated industries such as oil and gas industry face a variety of challenges that can lead them to question their abilities. Like some of these challenges are having access to opportunities, the mom effect, pay gaps, good old not being part of the good old boys club, lack of a voice, lack of a seat at the table, and so on, right? So this could create anxiety, but that anxiety doesn't need to be crippling. So my approach to address those challenges is to be professional, but fight to break down the barriers without being intimidated by the glass ceiling. So if we want to play in the big leagues, we need to develop a thick skin. And at the same time, we need to speak up and push to change the rules of the game. So we need to be out there. We need to educate ourselves and others on the gender stereotypes. We need to accept the challenge. We need to connect with female mentors, learn and implement some coping strategies, rise to the occasion, and ultimately with all of that, we can make a difference not only for ourselves but also for other women by helping to change the organizational culture. So, at the end of the day, I think it's up to all of us not to be intimidated by those challenges, and instead we should create opportunities out of them by leveraging our strengths. So there are many challenges, but it should be our mission to create a culture of inclusion and to address gender stereotypes within our circle of influence, both in our professional and personal life. Like at Enbridge, we have a very strong diversity and inclusion program. The focus of that program is to raise awareness about unconscious bias, to help create a consciously inclusive workplace, and to create policies and procedures that would promote diversity and inclusion at different levels within the organization. Programs like that help to overcome certain challenges women face in the workplace. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't forget that each of us has a role to play there, and we should not be intimidated by any of those challenges. Just be out there, accept the challenge, rise to the occasion.
Thank you. Loved your answer. Ms. Rajananayan, do you want to add something? I will reformat my question that how companies such as like big oil and gas companies can better foster a more inclusive workplace for their employees, and any, I would say, trainings or anything that you think it would help coming from the companies to help for better, more inclusive environment.
I think we need more women in the leadership positions. It's very important. So women should support each other, should be role model for other women, should encourage and motivate other women not to be afraid of the challenges and problems in the male-dominant industries. For example, specifically manufacturing industry, it's a male-dominant industry. The labor doesn't listen to you. You know who you are. So it is very challenging. You should believe in yourself. You should trust on your capabilities, expertise, and knowledge. And you should not be afraid of talking in front of the male, colleagues or whatever. And always motivate and encourage other women to present their ideas, to present their knowledge, and speak up in front of everyone. Not be afraid of to speak up in front of a group of the colleagues or whatever. Whether it is wrong or right, it doesn't matter really, And I think the key factor is that being a good role model for other women, encourage them, motivate them, and also support other women in difficult, tough industries, male-dominant industries. So, yeah, it is my suggestion.
Perfect, thank you.
So I'm going to put all the pressure on Ali. He has a big role on this.
I'm outnumbered here. I'm outnumbered here, so I leave it to you.
Many of the items that I heard both from Shima John and Mariam John was something that I can say it's the same conversations in Chevron: unconscious bias, diversity and inclusion training, empowerment, support, mentorship, sponsorship. All of those are the same words. At the end of the day, all of us, I'm talking about myself, in Chevron, I'm sitting here as the first female refinery manager for Chevron in Utah because a male took a chance on me. It wasn't a female that took a chance on me. It was, and that's the nature of where we are in our business right now. So we need the sponsors to support us and not have assumptions that, yeah, I think that might be a tough job for a female. It might be a tough job for if you put her in that organization. Don't make those assumptions. Give us the chances. And we, as Mariam John said, we will rise to those challenges. The other thing is that this problem, I went to an AFPM conference, John. There were about, I told this to my boss, there were about 3,000 attendees to this AFPM, and about 2,900 of them looked like my boss. So they were all the same age, they were all male, and there was like a very handful of people that looked different. And I brought that up to his attention, and I said, this problem it was not created overnight, and it cannot be solved overnight. If you really think by us, the handful and the very limited number of females in the leadership positions in our companies, we can turn this around overnight. We need the classrooms to change. We need the universe. That's why I'm saying it's all on Ali to help us. We need the chemical engineering classes to become 50% male, 50% female. We're not there yet. Electrical engineers are even less. And you go to every layer of engineering that you look, there is less and less of females. So if you have diverse candidates to choose from, to create a very solid pipeline for your leadership roles in the future, you might every and then get a number of females in the leadership and think you solved the problem, but it's not going to be sustainable. So it's a long-term strategy that we need to have. To start from elementary school, to not believe that this might be a tough, in high school, not saying that this might be AP calculus might be a little bit too hard for you. Why don't you go and do something else? Those are the conversation that happens really early for many of our diverse employees or diverse candidates. And I love what Shima John said. You have to have the tough skin. You have to come to this industry with the tough skin. And the last thing I add, you have to come to this industry very humble. This industry works with blue collar. And if you wanted to be successful in this industry, you have to be humble and not come across as a privilege. Because our parents, and as you know, in our generation, if we were not an engineer, as you said, or a doctor, we were the biggest losers for our families. But we had that support. Not everybody in our industry has had that opportunity. They didn't grow up in the families sometimes that will provide them that opportunity. So we can't come across that we're the engineers, we're the smartest people, and you guys just turn the valve that I tell you. We will fail as a leader if we have that approach. So the humbleness in oil and gas is as important as your technical abilities.
Well, I love that. Thank you. I think that's actually a good lesson for me. It's really going to be useful. Thank you.
So can I
thank you so much.
I mean, it was a really great discussion, and I'm very passionate about this topic. But I mean, so I really liked what Mitra was saying about starting early, starting from elementary school. You know what? I mean, we need to start even earlier than that. So I was at my son's daycare the other day, and one of the teachers was talking about a girl, like nice girl, like she's only 3 years old, and she was calling her she's a smart girl. And she was calling her bossy. I was like, no, she's not bossy. She has great leadership skills, right? So the words we use matters, right? So we need to start early. We need to start with our family. We need to start educating our partners, our friends, our sons and daughters early on, right? So that we can help to address like gender stereotypes early on and basically build the culture.
Yeah.
Well said.
Perfect. I think we lost Ali, but we'll probably catch up with him on the session.
Maybe I scared him and I said it's all on you, Ali.
Yeah. So thank you so much, ladies. That was really great conversation. I personally loved it. I would ask everyone to please move on to the sessions. You see it shows now like live on the left side. So please go there. And then if you are interested to talk to any of our panelists, just get to their rooms and share your screen, ask questions, feel free to talk to them. And you can, if you want to hang out with other attendees, you can also go to the post-panel networking session. So hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well done, Mina John. Thank you.